Hey guys, welcome back. We are once again on ArcheAge, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to you guys about the previous statements I'd made in the last video, briefly describing exactly what ArcheAge is, what it's about, and how you can get into the game. I stated it is a free-to-play MMORPG, meaning you don't have to register. I take that back, meaning you don't have to pay to play the game. You don't have to register a credit card or any of the sort. You can just download it, create an account, and you're good to go. So, why then would I go ahead and say that although it is a free to play, you might want to pay to play the game? Well, for a number of reasons. A lot of the game's mechanics depend heavily on a utility or a resource called labor. As you can see, I've amassed 5k labor, which is the most you can amass if you are a patron, I believe. If I mouse over this buff I have here, it says regenerates 10 labor every 5 minutes while online, 5 labor every 5 minutes while offline. Maximum labor is 5,000, bestows 5 loyalty tokens daily, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so this is a buff I have for being patron. As a free-to-play player, you will not have this option. A lot of the people that I talk to seem to have this idea that it is possible to play the game, but you have to pay. This is true mostly because if you're going to be invested in land or if you want to build your own house, your farm, etc., you need to. I run a guild on ArcheAge, the Empyrean Council. A few of my members actually benefit a lot, and this is how they raise their gold and amass a large amount of gold because they actually take the time to farm and put stuff down. But you do not have to do this. You do not have to do it. There are other ways. There are microtransactions in the game that allow you to, for example, um, put stuff on the auction house. Although I think they changed that. I think the auction house right now is open to everyone. You do not have to be a patron. I still don't know why this license is there. I'm pretty sure they said they would be opening it to everyone. Tax certificates allow you to put down houses and stuff like that. So you can get all these things through the in-game store. And yeah. So what I'm going to do is spend a few minutes here talking to you guys about the different ways you can access the game's content without having to pay to play. Of course, it'd be a lot easier, but there are certain things that I don't do, certain things that I haven't done or I don't plan on doing that I guess some free-to-play players would find interesting. Alright, so let me go ahead and summon my clipper here. So, I do not have a farm. I don't have a farm. Maybe saying that on YouTube is not the best thing to do, but I just don't. It never really appealed to me. I like how involved the game is. I like that it tries to build a sense of, you know, it's your plot of land, you choose to do what you want with it, you invest your time and effort, and you will be rewarded accordingly. I think that is an awesome idea. That aspect of the game, I think, is very, I guess, lacking in the MMO community. Not many games are as involved as ArcheAge is, and this is a good thing. This is a very good thing because it allows players to broaden their understanding of what is possible for MMOs of this day and age. Alright, moving on. How did I get my clipper? Of course, I have a guild, like I said. A lot of them put their resources together. They helped me out, and in turn I helped them out. But most of the reason why I'm able to do things like this is because I have gold. Gold is obviously like any other currency in MMOs. It's the main currency that you're going to be using for a lot of things. And how do you amass gold? Well, like I said, you spend your labor, you farm, you sell things, or you craft. Anything you do in the game is going to require labor. That's why it's such an important thing to have in ArcheAge. And why a lot of people will tell you if you're not a paid player, it is very difficult to amass the gold you need to do things. For example, if you're a free-to-play player, you will not get the gold that, you will not get the labor that other patrons get for being logged off, and you will only get 5 labor every 5 minutes. What does this mean? A patron that's logged off gets the same amount of labor per minute as you do logged in, and you only get that labor while logged into the game. There's no way around it unless you become a patron. There are, however, workers' comp pots, which you can buy from the restore. These have a 12-hour cooldown and they restore 1,000 labor. So it is worth noting that you need to be level 15 in order to use these workers' comp pods. Aside from that, the only other method to get labor is with the Archeum supply crates. They actually have a chance of giving you tinier workers' comps, but these do not have a cooldown, and I'm pretty sure they do not have a level restriction. Faster ways to level, obviously, through crafting and another emphasis on labor. There's just multiple different things that are required of each player that labor comes into a huge part of, plays a huge part of. If you've seen my previous videos, then you know that PvPing obviously is not one of them, for obvious reasons. If you had to use labor to PvP, that'd be kind of broken. I don't think anyone would want to do that. As far as in-game mechanics, that's about it. That's all your labor affects. Your acquisition of land and what you do with it and how you use it. Obviously, labor plays a huge part in that. And I believe that is the Kraken. I do not know why the Kraken is always here, but I try to stay away from it. So, yes, so labor affects what you can do in-game as far as land and the acquisition of that land. Crafting, obviously, as well, and that's the biggest part of labor. That's the biggest reason you want to be a patron. But if that doesn't interest you, if you don't want to farm and if you don't want to craft, then being a patron isn't really... I don't want to say it isn't worth it, because it's definitely worth it. You will level up slightly faster. I think you get a 10% experience buff or something like that. If I mouse over, yes, you gain experience 10% faster. And of course, the loyalty tokens. It's a big plus. For example, the companion crust here is what I've been using past couple of days. It just helps me level up my mount a lot quicker. You can have your mount out and it will run around with you, and also you can buy your workers comp stuff here just by logging in each day. You get 5 loyalty tokens. So as a player, you have to decide coming into ArcheAge what it is you want to do. There's a lot about the game I'll have to make a separate video about and just try my very best to just explain. It's just a game you have to experience, because the content, as of yet, even though it's limiting the 3rd continent, Auroria, as of yet the content itself is huge. The level cap is 50, there are 120 classes in the game, and there's just a lot that you can do outside of, crafting and building land. You could PvP, it's open world PvP. There's just a lot of different mechanics. But this video is mainly to just talk about guys that might be interested in playing the game free to play or otherwise. Alright, so let's head over to the auction house here, and I'll be able to show you the different things, the different ways you can make gold effectively. That's outside of, being a patron. Obviously, if you want to be a patron and you don't want to subscribe to the game, there is the option of the Apex, which I was going to show you, but I realized I have to be logged in. Apex, pretty much, you spend $10, you get an item. Once you have 2 of those items, you go onto your account login on the Tryon Worlds website and you select patron via Apex, and it will consume your Apex tokens, giving you the remainder of the credits, because outside of that, the Apex is just like a bundled pack of credits. It'll give you the amount of patron status based on the amount of Apex you have. So for example, if you have 2, that's 30 days worth of patron. If you have 4 or 6, obviously that is, sort of for 2 months and 3 months worth of patron. The remainder of the credits are deposited into your account, which you can use freely at any time. Moving on to why you would want to do this as opposed to just subscribing. Well, say money's tight, or you just don't have the resources to keep a sub, or you're not sure if you're going to be interested or invested enough in the game a month from now, 2 months from now, whatever the case may be. This is a good option for players that want the flexibility to choose their playtime and what they want to do with that time, as well as if they want to sub, not sub, etc. So I'm going to show you, I keep saying I was going to show you, how to make gold efficiently in ArcheAge without, I guess, too much of a hassle. Here's a prime example right here. This person is running a trade pack, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. I have not a full set, but I'm working on it, of magnificent armor, and this is a pretty decent grade armor. Are those bloodstains? Huh. I guess someone's been uprooting. I'm just gonna leave that there. It's none of my business. Yes, there is a crime system in the game. It's very robust, and one of the other features I'll have to explain in a later video. But for now, let's talk about making gold and why you don't need to be a patron. But it is helpful. But again, you don't need to. I'm just going to show you what you can do to avoid getting caught up in the whole patron status. So again, you need labor. You need to be at least level 15 to get labor and to use the labor pots, is what I'm trying to say. Not that you actually need. You build labor over time while being locked in, even if you're a free-to-play player. So you go over here to these blue little workstations, and you can actually see these on the map. If you go to, I believe it's no, I think it's infrastructure, right? Infrastructure workstation. I believe that is it. Yes. Artisan's workbench. No, that's not it. Specialty workbench. There we go. So you can toggle these on and off the map, and that will just show you the general area where you can find these. So you go there and you browse. Different zones, different workbenches have different specialities you can craft from them, and the resources required are listed below. So this requires that we do a Marinopal duck down, requires dried flowers 50 of each, and the duck downs 30 of each. And we already have a quality certificate. So let's go ahead and head on over to the warehouse and the auction house and just see what we have here. What you're going to want to do before you do any of these trips is find out the conversion rate. So if you go to your vocation, you go to trade info. So we are in Marinopal. Just come to grips with the terms, with the names of the zones. So we're in Marinopal. We're going to craft a set in Marinopal. And we are going to turn it in at, let's say, Gwinnett Forest, for example. Okay, so we're going to turn this in at Gwinnett Forest. And let's search. So we know that Marinopal duck downs give a price of 130%. This is just for the gold turn-ins. If these were for the resource turn-ins, it'd be completely different. So with this knowledge, we can go ahead and craft our trade pack, and that's just a beautiful scene there, isn't it? Wow. The small D captain is fishing. Stuff like this happens all the time, guys. Just learn to live with it. Some of it's funny, some of it can be really annoying. I don't really care. I think it's funny. But yeah, okay, so let's check our warehouse here, and we have, move this out of the way. We have the duck downs that we need, and we have 38 of the flowers. So I can tell you from doing a few of these runs that it's actually a really easy way to gain gold rather quickly. So let's say, for example, I spent a gold to get the resources that I needed to craft this one pack. The dried flowers, let's call it 2 gold, because the 50 dried flowers was just about, what was that, 72 silver? So let's go ahead and say we spent on average 2 gold to get the materials required to craft this pack. And it's 50, I believe, yeah, it's 50 silver for the quality certificate. So we go here and we craft the pack, and I can tell you from experience that crafting these packs obviously uses 60 labor, and it also requires 60 labor to turn in. But depending on where you turn in, you can get upwards of 6 to 8 gold in about, I'd say, 10 minutes of your time, 15 minutes of your time if you have a clipper. If you don't, if you have a donkey and you want to do the land turn-ins, it can take upwards of 30 minutes to 40 minutes just going from one zone to the next. But, if you've planned it out well, and I'll explain how you can plan it out well, it's actually a really efficient way to make a lot of gold. Okay, So I obviously don't have carrots, I just have a regular donkey. The carrots would make my donkey go faster, and you can buy those with the broker. You can just plant them yourselves in the public farms, and again, you don't need land. They're public farms where you can plant stuff and just use the utility of that in-game feature without having to be patron. So I have my pack here, and actually just to save time and not to make too much of a lengthy video, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this in at Soul's Reed and Crescent Throne. So this pack costs on average 2 gold, 2 to 3 gold to make. And we're gonna go turn this in at Soul's Reed for about 5 to 6 gold. So we have a profit of about 2.5 gold for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time. It may be more depending on the number of people that are at Soul's Reed. The higher the amount of people that are turning in there, obviously the less, and the less amount of people, then the more gold we're going to get. Okay, talking about the donkey, you can buy one off the store. Otherwise, if you want to get one in game, obviously not spending too much money here, you can buy one from, actually you have to do a quest chain. I believe it is a level 10 quest chain. You get in Windshade. Windshade is one of the starting zones. It's in one of the starting zones, Liliet Hills. This is the second zone, I believe. Or is it the first zone? No, I think it's the first zone. My apologies, guys. I'll have to make a comment, link a description there to a tutorial on how to get this. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spawn my clipper here. And what we're gonna do is just run this to Gwynedd. Sorry, not Gwynedd. We're gonna run this to Crescent Throne, turn it in at the gold trader there, and just show you guys how easy it is to make a lot of gold relatively quickly. This is also easier if you have a trade ship, for example, or just a lot of friends and you guys just want to kill time. You can all just craft trade ships and, you know, go on your donkeys if you'd rather do the land turn-ins, and, you know, just have some time just chilling, hanging out with friends, just talking about whatever it is you guys want to talk about. Okay. So one thing that you should know about trade runs in ArcheAge is that certain trade runs require you to go to the other continent, or require you to enter zones that are in a state of war, or just not neutral zones. What this means that it is possible for someone seeing me with my trade packs to jump onto my clipper, onto my ship, and essentially kill me and take my trade pack. This gives them all the resources in that trade pack. So there is nothing coming to you, at least I'm pretty sure there is nothing coming to you once they turn it in. It essentially registers them as the ones turning in the trade pack. I think you might get like 10% or 20%, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, especially if it's the enemy faction. You don't really get anything. They just get the resources that you use to create the trade pack, and once they turn it in, they essentially get all the gold you would have otherwise gained, or the resource you would have otherwise gained from that. It is especially annoying if you're doing like Friedek runs, which are to the center of the map, and they reward you with Gilda stars based on the packs that you turn in. Especially annoying because anywhere from 3 to 4 Gilda stars per pack, and you know, that's an essential key resource in the game as far as getting costumes, getting designs for different things. And I'm not really sure what this person is trying to do. I'm just gonna go ahead and let them do what they're doing. Now, I have been jumped on this before. Someone has jumped me, but that has been a long time since. A lot of people see that I am in magnificent gear, or I have a few of my guild mates with me, and they just ignore me. They tend not to disturb me. But that's one thing I would advise if you're going to be doing these trade runs. Get some friends. Get in a guild. If you want to join mine, join mine. We are actively recruiting right now. Just get some friends, get in a guild, and we'll help you as far as getting your stuff taken care of. And just helping you get started in the game. If it's land that you need, we'll figure out a way to get you land. There are ways to get land outside of Patron. There are a few tricks you can do. For example, Apexes is one trick. It essentially gives you Patron, but it's only a 30-day Patron. You can put your land down. I believe you still retain your land, even though your 30-day Patron status has expired. I think so. As long as you keep paying your tax, you get to keep the land, and all the stuff that's on it. I might be wrong. Okay, so if you look at the top right-hand corner, it says we're in a neutral territory. This means that it's open game for anyone. You know, someone from my faction who's a pirate, or someone, just any random person from my faction, could turn on their PK, their player kill mode, or bloodlust mode, and essentially kill me from my pack. This has happened before. In fact, I believe the last time this happened was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I was just being really, really snobby, really, really cocky. I thought I could take them on by myself, and I couldn't. I should have just kept sailing towards my destination. Like I said, I got cocky and ended up costing me a pack. It wasn't no big deal though. It was just me by myself. Like I said, these packs cost about a gold to 2 gold to make. Assuming you already have the quality certificates. If not, then 2.5 to 3 gold, depending on how the market is for the resources and how the market is for resources on your server, especially if you're gonna have to be farming it. Otherwise, if you're in I believe the auction house is split up into zones, so most servers share the same auction house. I believe that's someone else doing their trade run. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and when I get to the end here, I'll show you guys the different turn-ins you can make at Souls Reed. I don't think anything's gonna happen between now and when I get there. This person seems to be minding their own business. Alright, it is important to note that I do have a clipper. Most of you starting the game free to play won't have a clipper, and it will take you a while to amass the resources required. But I'm only doing this to show you the possible turn-ins and just how much you can make. This is the cheaper and the easier of the turn-ins. I won't be getting the most amount I could possibly be getting for this, but it's enough to make a profit off of, especially if I'm turning multiple packs at a time. So I think I should be making about 5 gold. Let me just check the trade info. Marinople. So yes, this was crafted in Marinople, and we're turning it in at Souls Reed, Crescent Throne, and it is down to 106%. So we might get 4 gold and a little bit of change in silver. We'll just have to wait and see. The reason why this is effective and why you might want to do the ground trade packs as opposed to the sea trade packs is because of the reason I just stated before. When you're on the open seas, you can get jacked. You know, people can attack you and take your stuff, and it does get really annoying, particularly when you have a trade ship or you have a lot of friends and you've crafted all the trade packs and your friends just can't pull their own weight, or you get outnumbered, or you get zerged. You know, anything could happen, but for the most part, those are the 2 major complaints. Is, you know, doing the sea turn-ins is you get ganked. So I could turn this in for gold, as you can see, 4 gold, 56 silver, and 31. So there's like a 50% profit right there. And I could turn it in for, I don't believe I can turn these in for resource. Can I turn these in for guilders? Okay. I can't turn these in for guilders. I think you can only turn in the gilda and the resource if you're trading from the opposing continent or from the opposing faction side. But for now, let's just turn this in for the gold. And within 22 hours, we'll have a slight 5% increase as far as how much gold we can get. Alright guys, that covers it for this kind of gold patron-ish tutorial, guide, whatever it is you want to call it. Let's just go over what we know and what I know that might help you better decide what to do with your time and your money in ArcheAge. So ArcheAge, you need labor to do practically anything that requires crafting or management of land. You first have to decide if you want to be invested in that land. Do you want a farm? Do you want a house? Do you want to just show off to friends with a fancy mansion? Or do you want to just grow crops and sell it and make money that way? If that is the type of thing you want to do and that's what you see yourself being invested in ArcheAge, then you absolutely need labor, and you absolutely need to an extent that patron status, because if that's something you're going to spend a lot of your time doing, you don't want to be here logged in waiting for your labor to come in, whereas you could be out or overnight while you're asleep gaining labor. So patron status, yes, I would say it is almost a must at that point if that is what you're going to be doing. However, if you are not invested in land, or if you do not see yourself becoming invested in land, then it's the opposite of the spectrum. There are lots of things you can do as a free-to-play player that you will enjoy without having to have a $15 a month sub, or without having to pay the $20 each month for the 30-day Apex or the 30-day Patron via the Apex. There are other things you can do, other ways you can have fun with the game. As stated, I do not have a house. I'm sorry, not yet. I'm saving up for the mansion. I do not have a farmland or anything. I have the required items to put up a farm. I might put one down for my guild at a later date, but personally I don't have the land. I'm not too invested in it. It's just not something that appeals to me. It's not that I can't bring myself to do it. I just, when I log in, I want to have fun. I want to PvP. Not saying that it isn't fun, but my aspect, or what I believe fun is, doesn't revolve around standing, on a plot of land in a virtual game and tilling it over and over. That might interest you, especially if you like games like, Minecraft, or I say Minecraft loosely, especially if you like games like, Farmville and stuff like that, then this is really going to get your attention. There's a ton of content as far as different seeds, crops, animals you can raise, and just different things you can do. In fact, let me go ahead and port over to one of my guild members. She has a very nice farm in front of her house, and just to give you an idea of what the farmlands are like and what you can do with them. And after I'm done with that, you guys enjoy the rest of my content on my videos, the rest of my content on my channel. Subscribe, like, let me know what you think. But yeah, if you are going to be invested in land, by all means get patron status. If you aren't, if you just want the PvE or the PvP, you just want to explore the content, explore the game, then by all means it is possible to play the game without that added restriction of patron being waved over your head. So yeah, this is one of her farms. I believe this is her Yada farm. And like I said, these farms can get really robust. A lot of people have them, and this is right outside Miranople too, so she has a nice little plot of land here. She keeps to herself, and we all kind of just have our teleport spawn point set inside her house, which is nice. Alright, next videos I'll do over ArcheAge will cover like the crime system, the combat, the PvP, and just how you can get yourself started as far as picking a class, what to do, what to not do, and just have fun with the game, guys. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.